as it remains, if you want a land with no wahala stress, I am going to talk you through 3 different ways of buying or acquiring a land in Ghana. Stay with me. Kiss from this dimple, kiss from this dimple. Akua Dimples, I am signing in straight from Ghana, guys. Literally, we are in Akua, okay, a very not so developed part of Accra, and today we are talking about Ghana lands, you know. And as it remains, if you want a land with no wahala stress in Accra, it's virtually impossible. Literally impossible. Someone might sell you a land, but they're about to dupe you for your money. So if you don't know how to buy land in Ghana, I am going to talk you through 3 different ways of buying or acquiring a land in Ghana. Stay with me. Option number 1 is buying through the kings and queens. Land acquisition goes way back, and this is why the first step is to buy it from the kings or queens, because the little communities in Ghana are still predominantly owned or ruled by kings, okay? So sometimes people might say this might be safe. You go straight to the kings, you ask them, do they have a land available within their community, and they will basically let you know if they do. The downside to that is sometimes every year, particularly the Gans who are found in Accra, they celebrate something called Homowo. And during Homowo, they look at the lands, what they have left, what they have available, and try to basically make more money through those celebrations. So unfortunately for you, if you have bought a land and you haven't started to build, or you haven't built a house on it, to the eyes, it looks available, doesn't it? What sometimes happens is these kings will then sell off your land. Yeah, sell it to anyone else who comes forward looking for a land and possibly offering more money. So when you acquire land through these kings and queens, the best thing to do is first make sure you do your paperwork, and the second thing is to make sure you quickly start to build. So if you're not ready, when you acquire land in Accra, make sure you are ready to build, because these lands are like hot property and they go really fast. So that's my tip for you when you buy through these kings and queens, because they sell it a lot cheaper than usual, but they also resell it and sell it, and it just becomes a whole lot of stress. So to avoid stress, the best thing to do is make sure you register it and make sure you start to build as soon as you can. So the second step is through estate agents. What they do is they go to undeveloped communities and they basically buy a huge portion of the land, they register it, and then they sell it to people. So it will be a lot more expensive than buying it directly from the source, which is the kings and queens. However, you have that peace of mind where, you know, the kings and queens can't necessarily mess around, because there's a proper established agents who have purchased this property and they have registered it. So all you usually need to do is to do a transfer and transfer the ownership into your name, and documentation is usually available. Whereas when you buy it from the kings, some of these lands have never been registered before, so it's a little bit of a trickier process where you have to acquire an indenture and then register a barcode system that's been newly introduced in Ghana. It's just a longer process. Whereas when you get it from the estate agents, they have done some of the first steps where they have probably surveyed the land and basically drawn out the dimensions that they are selling to you already. So you basically so most of the time you just need to do a transfer of ownership when you acquire property through the estate agents. The limitation being they are usually more expensive than buying it from a king or a queen. And the final option to buying a land is through individuals. Someone who has already bought the land and maybe for some reason they don't want the land anymore, whether it's through, and a lot of times you find people who have had the land for years and actually don't have a need for it, so they decide to sell it on. Some because of financial difficulties and they just want to sell the land to get money from it. So that's your final option, to buy it from an individual who is selling their land. And that process is quite similar to buying it off the estate agents, because these individuals sometimes may have registered the land, but you'll find that actually some still haven't registered the land, and you know, you will still have to go through that process. So we're buying it from the individual. The tricky bit is you don't know if it's registered. Sometimes it's because they have had problems with the land and they just want to redeem themselves, and get their money from it, so they'll do something like that. So buying it from an individual sometimes is a little trickier, because with a king, there's no way they are running anywhere. They will always be where you found them. With the estate agents, because they're established company, they're usually a lot easier to find. But with an individual, it's so subject to wahala, guys, you don't understand. Because sometimes these lands belong to a family, not a person. The family might be because the real owner passed away and siblings have inherited it and they are fighting over it. And me personally, I'm going to be very honest with you guys, we purchased the land that an individual sold to us. We later found that it belonged to a family, and 3 siblings had all sold that land to different people. So imagine when you're buying from an individual, it's a lot harder to track them. And in Ghana, understandably, the law is a little bit shifty where people, anyway, let's get down for this one. The law is a little bit shifty, you know, where people just do what they want. You know, we did get the person arrested. He was locked behind bars, released after 3 days. Did we get our money back? We are still fighting. So buying lands in Ghana is very tricky. Some may say you are better off this day and age to just buy a completed house that is being sold by an estate agent, just for your own peace of mind. Because if I tell you the number of people I have met who are still fighting to get their land back, is it worth it? It's cheaper to buy your land and to build your house. Is it worth it? Is it worth the risk of losing the whole of your money? Is it worth the risk of fighting for many, many years before that land finally becomes yours and you're able to basically get the paperwork that is attached to it? The decision is yours to make. But today, I just wanted to give you those 3 options to make you aware of possibilities and ways of buying land in Ghana. Check out my other videos, guys, if you're new to this channel. My journey in Ghana continues as I continue to bring you real life things. And today, thank you for joining me in the city of Papasi, Kotoku, not too far from the eastern region, but we're still in Greater Accra. And this is an example of an area that isn't developed, but it's still developing. And you can do that after. Until next time, guys, kiss from this dimple, kiss from this dimple, Akua Dimples. I am signing out.